Welcome back, guys, to the best independent football debate show on YouTube. Welcome back. And first of all, I just want to say this. I'm going to say it every time because we weren't consistent before, and now we are being very, very consistent. Okay, so this will carry on. But is your host JVM Yusuf? How you doing, Yusuf?
I'm good. I'm amazing. I'm amazing. I'm amazing. Here to talk sports, man. How you doing?
I'm good. So today, again, we've got a lot of things to talk about today. We're gonna go back to Enzo Fernandez and kind of delve little bit deeper into what he was talking about and the things he said. We're gonna talk a little bit more about Mbappe and Endrick and Real Madrid and how that whole dynamic is going to work. We're gonna talk about first, of course, about the 10 most valuable players in the world. That list came out on transfer market. We're going to talk about the biggest transfers so far in this transfer window, and then we're also going to talk a little bit about some more transfer rumors. And also, ESPN dropped their top 100 athletes, and I think that their list isn't very good. If we're considering the best athletes in the world, their list leaves a lot to be desired. But yes, we're going to start with the top 10 most valuable players in the world, at least as per transfer market. I'm going to read the names out to you, Yusuf, and I'm going to read out how much these players are worth as well. Because just before the stream, I was looking at it and I said, okay, there's a clear problem with this list, and I think you will get it within like 10 seconds of me saying it. But yes, top 10 most valuable players in the world. You've got Jude Bellingham, who's worth 180 million euros. Erling
Yeah.
Haaland, 180. Vinicius Junior, 180. Mbappe, 180. Phil Foden, 150. Saka, 140. Vert 130, Musiala 130, Rodri 130, and Lamine Yamal 120. What do you think of that list?
Um, there are some questionable names in the list. There are a few questionable names in the list. Wow. Yamin Laman is already 120.
Yeah, 120.
Wow. Wow. How much is Rodrigo?
Rodri is one.
Not Rodri, Rodrigo.
Yeah, Rodri's 130.
Real Madrid's Rodrigo.
No, Rodri, Man City's Rodri, not Real Madrid. Man City's Rodri.
Yeah, I'm asking. So Rodrigo didn't make the list.
No, he's not top 10. He's number 13, and he's worth 110.
So there are teams in football now that really think Yamal is more expensive than Rodri.
Yeah, they're saying he's more valuable.
Wow. Wow. The list, yeah, the top guns are on the list. You know, the Vinis and the Mbappes, they are definitely going to make the top of the list. But I don't think Yamal is worth 120. He had an amazing season. He had amazing football and everything, but I don't think it's worth 120 M's. You get me? Not right now.
You don't think he's worth that based on talent or based on what he's produced so far?
Based on talent and based on what he has produced so far.
Okay.
You understand me? Because we won't forget the fact that Yamin Lamar started the season last season very shaky. We won't forget the fact that Yamin Yamal is super inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the Euros that we praise him so much for, there are games that he was totally a shadow of himself. He had 4 assists and a goal in the Euros. Beautiful goal by all standards.
Yeah.
Beautiful goal by all standards. But we can't compare that to a Rodrigo who was practically one of the best players in the last the Benzema's final Champions League win with Real Madrid.
2021.
Coming in clutch moments.
Yeah.
He was the clutchest player on the team, coming in from the bench. Rodrigo already recording a minimum of 15 goals a season. Already recording a minimum of 15 goals. A starter for the Brazilian national team. The only difference between Vinicius Junior and Rodrigo is height and dribbling. They are practically the same player, and Rodrigo is a better goal scorer than Vini. So I don't get the reason why. Okay, maybe it's valid. Maybe age. Yamal is 16 years old, but we saw on Lati. I don't think Yamal is worth more than Rodrigo. That is me. I don't think Yamal is worth more than Rodrigo. I praise him for his amazing football. I praise him. You can buy him because of the age factor. He's only 16, 17, doing what he's doing. So if you pay 120 for
Yeah.
a 16, 17-year-old, yeah, I understand that. But
I think with Yamal, I think that's what they really went for. I think they went for the age, how young he is, and what he's producing. So in that sense, I think the 100 million is kind of, for him and
justified.
Bellingham, yeah, justified because you look at this. He's the only teenager in the top 10. Again, I do think he's quite inconsistent. That's why before the Euro started, I said there's a great
Yeah.
player right there, but we can't act like we weren't surprised by what Yamal did. We were all surprised by what he did because we knew the talent was there. We just weren't very sure on how the talent was going to translate into the Euro. So that's why we were all surprised. So yeah, I like the fact that Yamal is on this list. 120, I guess, if you're going to factor in his age, also matters. But what I really want us to focus on for a second here is Kylian Mbappe. Because Mbappe, Vinny, Haaland, and Bellingham are all the same price, or at least are all reported to be at around the same price. And I
Yeah.
personally have a problem with that. The reason why I have a problem
Yeah, it's an insult to Kylian.
the reason why I have a problem with these guys all being the same value as Kylian Mbappe is because, in my opinion, Mbappe is the best player in the world. And
Facts.
none of these guys have even come close of doing what Mbappe has done. Mbappe just put out, just not too long ago. Mbappe put up one of the greatest World Cup final performances we have ever seen. Mbappe, year in and year out, he's able to produce 20, 30 goals in the league. He's been consistently the best scorer in League On. So when you're comparing Mbappe, I think the only other player that could really be on the same tier as him would be Erling Haaland. We've seen one outstanding season from Jude Bellingham, where we've seen Mbappe do this since 2018. We've seen Mbappe be this consistent player. We've seen Mbappe be this figure for country and club. Even when PSG did not perform as well in the Champions League, even when PSG came up short in the Champions League, Mbappe was always the bright spotlight in this team. So for us to put Mbappe in the same tier as all of these other guys, I think it's kind of disrespectful. Mbappe should be worth way more than Vinny, Haaland,
Way
and
more than
Bellingham.
all of these people.
If these guys are worth 180,
Way more.
Mbappe needs to be worth 200 at least. Because Mbappe,
Way more.
if we're being serious, Mbappe is putting up historic numbers at this age. And he's already a World Cup winner as well. Vinny,
Yeah.
Bellingham,
Way more.
and all of these guys, I'm not saying they didn't play their part. They, of course, played their part, but compared to what Mbappe has done, and I think I kind of had my doubts about Mbappe coming into Real Madrid, but now when I'm beginning to see things like this, I'm beginning to think, oh, they don't know who this guy is. They think Vinny, Bellingham, Haaland, then the same level with Mbappe, when really they are not on the same level as Mbappe. Mbappe is on a tier of his own. Mbappe is the best player in the world.
Mbappe is on a different level, and I hate the fact that because he didn't win the Champions League with PSG, he's been reduced to this type of player, or he's been reduced to this type of levels. 180 M's for Kylian Mbappe, a player who practically records 25 goals a season for the past 3, 4, 5 seasons.
Yeah.
I can read his stats for this season. This season so far, in the league, Kylian Mbappe this season in the league, he had scored 1 second.
That's cool.
Kylian Mbappe in the league this season has scored 27 goals, 7 assists in the league this season. In 24 appearances, he has scored 27 goals and 7 assists. In the Champions League, in 12 appearances, he has scored 8 goals.
Most influential.
Most influential player on the team. He practically carried PSG to wherever they reached. This season, and this is just stats for this season, let alone his stats for like his career. So far, Mbappe is already recording upwards of like 100 or to 200 goals. So far at his age. So I think it's an insult. I think he's the most complete player on the list. I think he and Erling Haaland are the two players who have kind of really, really proved themselves.
Yeah.
I really commend Haaland for the first season he had in Manchester City. I really commend him for the season he had last season, because for a player to score the amount of goals he scored last season and still be considered a flop is amazing. That means your levels are astronomical. That means you are way above competition. Who won the Goal King last season?
Say it again.
Who won the EPL Goal King last season?
Yeah, it was Mbappe. I mean, Haaland. It was Haaland, and people still call him a
And he
flop.
flopped.
Yeah,
Yo, bro, that shows this man's levels.
it does.
You get me?
It
I
definitely
appreciate Bellingham doesn't need to be on this tier. He isn't up there yet. The only person who is close to being there is Vinicius Junior
does. Yeah. And the number
for his performances he put.
again, Bellingham, he had an amazing season. Again, we're gonna have to see Bellingham be more consistent with his performances, because if we're going off talent, I have Foden being more valuable than Bellingham.
Yeah.
Foden didn't play very well in the Euros. We all know that he underperformed in the Euros. But I don't think that's like just Foden's fault. The whole team underperformed, and we all know what Southgate was doing to this team, and playing Foden in ways that Foden doesn't really benefit from. So if we're talking about worth and talent and all of that stuff, I kind of have Foden over Bellingham, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah.
Bellingham had an amazing season where he was able to score a lot of goals, but how often is that going to happen? If I have to pick between Bellingham and Foden, I'm going to pick Phil Foden.
That is facts. That is facts. Phil Foden gives you more than Bellingham does. Bellingham eats off of the aura. I like the presentation he has. I like the way he carries himself in games. I like the way he, regardless of how the game is going, doesn't get lost in the sauce. And
Yeah.
Phil Foden is kind of like a victim of being lost in the sauce. You understand? Sometimes when the game becomes too gamey, Phil Foden, because he's known for doing one or two things so good, when he's not doing those things, it feels like he's out of those games. But with Bellingham, if he's known for scoring those clutch goals and the clutch goals don't come, you see him tackling. If he's known for giving passes, you see him doing other things in the football game that makes it look like, yo, this guy doesn't have too much of a bad game. You get me? And there's one stat I have to add for the Kylian Mbappe thing. I really did him a disservice for mentioning 100 goals. Kylian Mbappe so far in his career has played 305 games and has scored 255 goals.
Yeah, that's those numbers are up there.
This is the numbers we are talking about.
Yeah.
So far, that is only for Paris Saint-Germain. His total career matches is 442 matches, scoring 328 goals. This is Cristiano Ronaldo Messi level.
Yes. And again, that's why putting Mbappe in the same tier as the likes of Bellingham, Vinny, and the rest. They are again talented players, but they are not in the same tier as Mbappe. They do not eat in the same table, in my opinion. They just don't.
I think Kylian Mbappe should probably take this as a challenge. Enter next season with all of the drive to prove everybody wrong. The only thing he has to do right now is to gel well with the current squad.
Yeah.
You understand me? Once he has that level of telepathy with the current squad, I think they are going to play for each other. They are young, they need to just find a few things that they share, a few things that they are both interested in. And I know there's basketball, there's fashion, there's clothing, and all of those things that they can find a common ground in. And there's one thing we are also forgetting. Vinicius Junior is with Nike, Kylian Mbappe is with Nike. So I feel like there's going to be that Nike connection there. Nike would find a way to bring two of his stars playing for one of the greatest clubs in the world to gel for content. So I feel like there's going to be that telepathy. There's going to be that thing. Now, Vinny doesn't have the pressure of being the clutch player. Vinny doesn't have the pressure of doing so much, because I feel like Vinny is one of those goal-scoring players who still likes to assist, who still likes to pull the ball back. I feel like if you give Vinny and more goal scoring responsibility, he kind of falls short.
It's like a burden. You're putting too much on him.
It's like a burden. He wants to be that
Yeah.
free flowing player with no pressure who can do a lot, but still help make the team better.
Yeah.
You get me?
But yeah, that we've just spent like 15 minutes on this topic, and the main reason why is just because when we dissect these things, we are able to analyze these things a little bit deeper than just surface level. And yeah, so we just went over the top 10 most valuable players in the world. We're gonna go over quickly to have a look at the top 5 signings so far in this transfer window, and then we're gonna go over to talk about ESPN's list, ESPN's interesting top 100 athletes. I think that's gonna take a big portion of the show because there's a lot to be said there. But yeah, kind of very similar. The top 5 most, the top 5 most expensive transfers so far in this window has been Mbappe to Real Madrid. That was a free transfer, but we of course, if you're tapped in, all the fees, all the personal fees that were involved in that deal, and how Mbappe came to Real Madrid, and all the deals he was able to make with Florentino Perez and Real Madrid. You of course have Douglas Luiz to Juventus, which was a very interesting move. But again, Juventus spending 70 million to sign Douglas Luiz. You've got Lenny Euro to Manchester United, which I thought was an amazing signing. We talked about this last episode. We won't go over it for a long time. Just a quick overview. We're going to give a quick thoughts. You of course have Endrick to Real Madrid for 47 million. We're going to talk about Endrick a bit more at the end of the show. And then also you have Onana. That just happened this past week to Aston Villa. And Aston Villa spent a bag. They spent 59 million euros to sign Onana.
Yeah.
And yeah, on Aston Villa, very quickly, they're serious. I thought Chelsea were going to be one of the teams making deals like this. You look at Aston Villa, you're looking at a team who last year were able to, finish inside the top 4, which was an amazing feat. And spending this much money, on Onana is a statement, because Onana's reported transfer value is 50 million. They paid 9 million over the market value price, if you want, because they were serious about getting him in. There were talks about United also wanting Onana in. But again, I'm just really proud of Aston Villa. I'm really proud of Real Madrid. I'm proud, not really proud of United. We're going to see what happens. And I'm kind of worried about Juventus.
Why are you worried about your Juventus?
Spending this much money on Douglas Luiz. Again, I feel like they spent less than the market value of what Douglas Luiz is, but for Juventus, I just remember this Juventus team in the early to mid 2010s, or even to late 2010s. Really, just the whole 2010s, they were a cloud that were able to dominate. When you at least a few years back, when you thought about Italian football, it was kind of hard to talk about Italian football and not talk about Juventus. So again, I feel like Juventus fans would really want to get back to that same place. I think Juventus fans really want to get back to being one of the top dogs, which is kind of weird for them to, Juventus to not be spending more money, because they're kind of in a similar place to what's their name, Atletico Madrid, where they are where they are not playing very attractive football. They aren't winning anything, and I just thought just maybe they were going to spend, or at least make better deals. But that's just
No, I understand you. Looking at the level of signings other people are doing and the amount people are spending and the caliber of players they are bringing in, you are totally right with everything you said about Juventus. You understand me? I feel like Juventus's problem is bigger than even the signing of one player. I feel like they've been trying to do these one signings to help the squad, but if we see how aggressive AC Milan went in the transfer market last season, and 2 seasons ago, we see Inter Milan's aggressiveness in the transfer market, and looking at the fact that they both ripped something or a reward from like their aggressiveness. You understand me? We talked about the AC Milan and the players they brought in. We talked about Inter Milan and how the revamp and the players they brought in, and like the players that they had stepping up and everything, and they being able to win whatever they won. You get me? I think Juventus has to really look into like a revamp of the squad, because you keep bringing people in, but your players like what happens to Weston McKennie?
Yeah.
You
No
understand
idea.
me?
I have no idea what
What
happened to him.
happens to him? And there's deliberations on his contract and everything like that. You get me? There are players there that you haven't really solved and they are not happy, but we keep on bringing new players. There are players that you haven't really fully integrated into the squad and they don't even know what their role is in this current Juventus squad. And you keep bringing in players. You understand me? So Juventus needs a total revamp. It is not to go into the market to spend big that makes you a contender. It is what you spend the money on.
Yeah, and then also we talked about them last episode. We won't spend too much time on them because again, that ESPN top 100 that's going to eat up a lot of the show. But yes, Bayern Munich are another team that are doing big business in the transfer market. They just signed Olise and Polina, and as we said last episode, Bayern Munich should be getting again to the semi-final or final of the Champions League. There are only
Yeah.
two other teams, in my opinion, that should even compete with Bayern Munich, and that is Real
Mm-hmm.
Madrid and Man City. And those are the two
Yeah.
biggest teams in the world right now. And apart from those two teams, Bayern Munich should be beating every single other team. They should be winning the league, and I think that their fans expect a lot
Yeah.
more. Again, shout out to Bayern Leverkusen and what they did, but the top dogs in Germany are Bayern Munich. So they
That is very true.
want to get back to that place where they are the top dogs, where they are making the key signings, and winning the most important trophies. Because again, we're talking about the biggest club in Germany. But yeah, as
That
we
is
said,
true.
we were going to keep it brief. We're going to keep it brief, and we're going to move over to our next topic, and that topic is ESPN's top 100 athlete list. And why this topic comes up today, and why I'm laughing, and why it's quite interesting, is because if you know ESPN, you know they really like to sell their athletes. They really like to sell the American athletes, and at least when it comes to ESPN, I think they are very good at talking about the NFL and the NBA and tennis and all these other sports. But I think ESPN really dropped the ball when it comes to football, when it comes to their quote-unquote soccer. And I'm beginning to get worried. Again, massive respects to ESPN. We all know what ESPN are and what they stand for. But I'm beginning to get worried about ESPN's football analysts and who they have up there to talk about football and who they have voting for these things. I'm going to read out the top 10. I'm going to read out the top 10. I'm going to read out ESPN's top 10 100 athletes. And hopefully, if you know ball, you kind of understand what is wrong with this list. And I think to really interpret this list properly, I feel like to really understand where this list comes short, you need to be a sports savvy individual. You need to be someone who understands sports and not just, for example, just basketball or just football. You need to have a broad understanding. Even if you don't have a deep understanding of other sports, you should have at least some more, again, broad understanding of what is going on in the world of sports. So here are the ESPN's top 10 athletes, top 10 athletes since the 2000s. They have Michael Phelps at number 1. They've got Serena Williams at number 2. They've got Lionel Messi at number 3. They've got LeBron James at number 4. They have... just give me a second. Oh, sorry guys, I'll start again. You've got Michael Phelps at number 1. You've got Serena Williams at number 2. Lionel Messi at number 3. LeBron James at number 4. Tom Brady at number 5. Roger Federer at number 6. Simone Biles at number 7. Tiger Woods at number 8. Usain Bolt at number 9. And Kobe Bean Bryant at number 10. Yusuf, thoughts before we... I think we're going to say the same thing, but just your thoughts on the top 10.
It's outrageous. The top 10 is outrageous. I don't understand the reason why. After all of the players I had, Cristiano Ronaldo didn't make the top 10.
Yeah.
I don't understand the reason why Messi is the only footballer that made the top 10. I think it's a celebration of American athletes. And they are I feel like ESPN is kind of lacking in a lot of departments when it comes to soccer. You get me? I want to call it soccer because I feel like this list is an American list. This list has a lot of American bias. This list is celebrating American sports and American excellence. And I understand them for that. But they shouldn't bring it out. And I kind of have a bone to pick with a lot of Americans when it comes to the name athlete, or when it comes to the name athletic, or when it comes to some of the accolades they give their sports teams and their sports players. Lakers is not Lakers, Celtics, New England, or whatever team or whatever teams that you guys feel like are very historic teams in American sports. They are not the greatest teams in the world. That is what you should understand. The world is a broad place. There are teams and sports that are doing more than what American sports are doing. There are teams that are greater than all of these American great sports teams. You get me? There are list and caliber of teams in football that have accomplished more than the Celtics, more than the Lakers, more than the Raiders, more than the Red Sox, more than whichever sports team that you guys praise in America. And the same with what? Athletes. Michael Phelps, amazing. Olympian, champion. He has done a lot in his sports. Lionel Messi has completed football. Lionel Messi has every single trophy that needs to be won in football. He has done it as the main man on the team. Lionel Messi has the personal glory, team glory, and whatever glory that comes with these sports. Lionel Messi has the longevity and how is he number 3 behind all of these people? And the next person after Lionel Messi in the sports or soccer category is Cristiano Ronaldo, who has similar accolades to Lionel Messi, who has similar individual accolades. How is he 13th on the list behind all of these people?
Yeah.
No, ESPN has to really reevaluate this list. And we can go through the list again, AVM, if you want us to. We can go through the list again.
We will.
The top 10. The top 10 that ESPN selected. Okay, these are the top 10 that ESPN thought since the year 2000 have been the best. Number 1 is Michael Phelps. Nope. Number 2 is Serena Williams. How is Serena Williams greater than Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo? How? 5 Ballon d'Ors. Is Serena Williams in the year 2000 the greatest tennis player?
Not right now.
2000 till now, in her sport, is she the greatest tennis player? Or is it because she's a woman?
Again, Serena had an amazing dominant run, and in a sense, I feel like Serena's place in the top 100 and definitely the top 10 even is warranted. My problem becomes when if you're truly evaluating what these people have done, first of all, Messi should be way higher, because Messi is he's not only been the best player in football since 2000, but Messi is the greatest football player of all time. There has never, again, Yusuf can disagree with this, but at least Yusuf can agree that if not Messi, is going to be Ronaldo. But at least in my opinion, in most football fans' opinions, Messi is the greatest football player to have ever touched the football. So Messi not being, again, higher is weird. It's weird. Messi should, again, I can't really argue with Michael Phelps being number 1. I don't love it, but I get it. But then at number 2, with Serena Williams and Lionel Messi, I think you dropped the ball there. I'm not minding Michael Phelps being number 1. The dominance he's had in his sports is like every time he was in the Olympics swimming, and again the Olympics kind of like the World Cup. It's like winning the World Cup every single time. So at that I have to give Michael Phelps his flowers. We were talking about this before on Footy on Players' Choice, and we said that Michael Phelps might just be the greatest athlete of all time, and I'm fine with that. But then if he's number 1, then Messi just has to be number 2. I just think respectfully. Then LeBron James number 4. I'm not mad at that. Brady 5, I'm not mad at that. Federer 6, I'm not mad at that. Simone Biles number 7, I'm not mad at that. Tiger Woods 8, I'm not mad at that. What I'm mad at is the difference between Messi and Ronaldo. The gap between the two guys is it shouldn't be these many spots between them, and I don't understand how Ronaldo is not inside the top 10.
There are there are three tennis players ahead of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah. And even, sorry, I did not mean to cut you off. Another one that really annoyed me was Lewis Hamilton. How is Hamilton that low?
You understand me?
How are there three tennis players ahead of Hamilton? What
Yeah.
those three tennis players, are they all the GOAT? Because you can make an
In their
argument for,
sports?
yeah, you can make an argument for Lewis Hamilton being the GOAT in his sport. So, come on, guys, it's silly.
No, it's crazy. The list has just a lot of, American bias. I can go up to the bottom. Diana Taurasi isn't greater than Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah. Oh yes, that one, bro. We are staying inside the top 10
Floyd
for now.
Mayweather 25.
Yeah, Floyd Mayweather 25 is disgusting. I am sorry, that is disgusting.
You get me? In the top 10, Cristiano Ronaldo should make the top 10.
Easily.
Because I don't see anybody in the top 10 that has a career to match Cristiano Ronaldo easily like that. Yeah, they have amazing careers. I'm not saying anything to look. He has the most goals compared to every active footballer right now. He has the most goals scored
of all time. Playing or not playing. And another thing about Ronaldo is, yes, you can make the argument of Messi, being better than Ronaldo. But if you're going to put Messi at number 5 and he has 7 Ballon d'Ors, Ronaldo has 5. Ronaldo has 5 Ballon d'Ors.
He has the goals and the trophies to match it.
Ronaldo is the greatest scorer in the greatest competition in football. Look, I love the World Cup. You can make an argument for the World Cup being the biggest event in football, but as far as the best league in football is the Champions League. The best quality, it happens every single year. The best teams are in there. The best teams from Europe's leagues, not just top 5, the best teams from Europe's leagues. In the World Cup, you're going to get a lot of countries like, no disrespect, I don't know, even my own family country like Angola. You get teams like, South Korea. These teams are not going to go there and perform very well. In the Champions League, every team there are champions. They are all champions in the Champions League. And Ronaldo was able to become the top scorer of that tournament.
He's called Mr. Champions League for a reason.
They call him Mr. Champions League.
He's called Mr. Champions League for a reason.
And then again,
the clutchest moments in Champions League history. If you go for like 10 clutchest moments in Champions League history, he has like 5 or 3 or 2 or 1. He's involved.
And
the disrespect for...
Yeah, go on.
Now, I meant to say the disrespect for football sometimes in America is crazy. And I feel like the only reason Lionel Messi is where he is because he's playing in America now.
Into Miami, yeah. You can make a case for that. And then the thing is, under Floyd Mayweather's name, they put some of his accomplishments as being 50-0. How is a guy that is 50-0 number 25 on the list?
5.
He's never lost! Floyd Mayweather never lost, and he's number 25. Oh,
this list is flawed.
Mayweather is literally the GOAT of boxing. He's the Jordan, not the great GOAT of all time of boxing, but at least since the 2000s, what that this list is talking about, Mayweather is the Jordan of boxing. Yes, you can say he picks his fight here and there. Fair enough. He's never lost. How is Aaron Donald ahead of him? How is Tim Duncan ahead of him?
How?
I love Nadal and Djokovic, but how are they ahead of him?
Simone Biles, great Olympian, but how is she ahead of Mayweather? I would always talk about this, bro. You can be the greatest in your sports. I understand that, but sometimes the frequency of your sports also plays a part in where you fall in this list.
That's a good point.
You compete every 4 years, bro. People compete day in, day out.
Twice a week.
For Messi to create his legacy, he has to compete day in, day out. You understand me? Play in more than one tournament. Cristiano Ronaldo being great in not only one league, 3, 4 leagues, making his mark, winning the goal king in all of these leagues, winning the Ballon d'Or in England and winning the Ballon d'Or in Spain, winning the Champions League with Manchester United and winning the Champions League multiple times with what? Real Madrid, winning the league in multiple countries, creating a mark. And when it comes to even the following, the social medias and everything, if that plays a part, he's the most followed athlete here.
Yeah,
He's the most celebrated.
even just talk about influence. I think that's a very good point. If we're going to talk about influence, how is like the biggest name in sports not number 10? He's the biggest name in sports and he's not number 10. What? And another one,
He's not top 10.
like the as you keep going down the list, it just becomes worse. I don't know if you're like into F1, Formula One, or all that stuff. Michael Schumacher, I always get his name
Yeah,
wrong.
Michael Schumacher.
Schumacher, sorry,
Michael
thank you.
Schumacher.
I'm sorry for butchering his name. He's below Nikola Jokic. We know what he was able to do with Ferrari at the turn of the
It
century.
was crazy.
This guy won 5 times in a row. Jokic has 1 championship, bro. Jokic has 1 championship. What are we doing? We're talking about one of the goats of F1 who has anyone won 5 in a row?
I don't think so.
Oh, stop. At the turn
They
of
have
the
Jokic
century,
ahead of they have Jokic ahead of Dwayne Wade.
bro. What?
They have Jokic ahead of Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is number 39. Number 39. You mean to tell me in the year 2000, Diana Taurasi has had a better career than Kevin Easy Money Sniper Durant? Oh, dear.
You know another one that's quite annoying to me as well. You know, I love Thierry Henry.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much when we used to have the top 5 strikers list and all that stuff. You know how highly I
Yeah.
like Thierry Henry. The list goes Ronaldo, Messi. Yeah. Your next football player is Thierry Henry at number 48.
At 48.
How
The disrespect.
Thierry Henry is not the 3rd best football player since the turn of the century. He's not. Where's Xavi? Where's Iniesta? He has to go to one of them.
Where's Zinedine Zidane?
Zidane is below Henry. What are we doing?
Zinedine Zidane doing all what he did. What?
Oh my
Look,
days.
are you pissed at Zidane? Who is behind Thierry Henry?
Zidane.
No, who is behind in the list? Who is behind Thierry Henry?
Oh my God. Bonmati is not even better than Putellas. Putellas is better than Bonmati.
Yo, you mean to tell me after
Oh, this list is rigged.
Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, the next available name was Thierry Henry, which we already have a problem with.
Yeah.
And the next available name I think was Marta, the Brazilian Marta, the lady.
Yeah, it was Ronaldo,
Then-
Messi, Marta, and then Henry.
Marta, then Henry. So Marta had a greater career than Thierry Henry. Yeah, that is what we're trying to say. And what? Aitana Bonmati had a better career in the 2000s than Iniesta, Xavi, Busquets, Casillas, Sergio Ramos. Which
Suarez.
names am I forgetting? Luis Suarez, Neymar Jr. Even in this Real Madrid team, Xabi Alonso's. We go to the Hazards. We go to the Wayne Rooney's. We can mention a lot of players. Lampard, Gerrard, Bonmati has had a better 2000s till now than them, or is it recency bias?
It has to
Or
be.
is it that we are not counting from actually 2000? Because how did Zinedine Zidane didn't make it? How Zinedine Zidane?
and
How the likes of Van der Sar?
Yeah, I have a theory here, and my theory is, you know how Henry is on, was it CBS Sports? Because he's out there with the American public, and because Henry also played in the MLS. I think they are able to relate to Henry more. And Henry has said He has said it multiple times live on air with Michael Richards and Carragher. He said Henry has said it multiple times on air that he believes that Zidane was the best player on that team. That Zidane was the man. Zidane was the guy that the French players went to. And it was true. Like, you look at 2001 with Real Madrid, you look at 2006. Yes, Zidane wasn't as consistent as Ronaldo and Messi per se, but just in terms of talent and in terms of impact, bro, come on.
Zidane's consistency came in other ways. Ronaldo and Messi's the style of football played now geared towards goal scoring and assist. That is why Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi look elite, because they were the best at doing that and affecting the game in other ways. Zinedine Zidane's effect wasn't only goals and assists, because he didn't record a lot of goals and assists, but he was the midfield general. He was the controller. He was the person that is making everything shift in midfield. He's the reason why the team is moving. He's the reason why the team is down. If Zidane has a bad game, the whole team has a bad game. If he has a good game, they are blowing you by 4 goals. That is the level of effect he had in that team. And all of the players who played with Zinedine Zidane, including Thierry Henry, come out to say this. Every single one of them. Zizou was on a different level. Zizou is my greatest midfielder ever. How is he behind? He's 50, behind Bonmati.
And another thing is, but you have Bonmati, who she won 1 Ballon d'Or and she won the World Cup. Fair enough. That was what, last year, 2 years ago. Fair enough. She's a great player. And then you also have Shoei Otani. And again, Yusuf, I don't know how tapped in you are with the UFC. These guys are all ahead of John Jones. John Jones.
Dubbed the greatest. He's dubbed the greatest. And
we're talking about UFC, MMA. John Jones never lost a fight against the baddest athletes, arguably the most dangerous sport in the world, or one of the most dangerous sports in the world, where you can get knee in the face, elbow in the face. John Jones has never lost, and this man has been through adversity, either for his fault or for other reasons, because John Jones has also made a lot of mistakes, let's not forget that, but he's been through so much adversity, and no one has been able to beat him. The only loss John Jones has in his career was a time when he was disqualified from a fight. And us MMA fans, UFC fans, we do not count that, because he won that fight. It was a poor decision from the judges. John Jones is number 66. That's disgusting. I'm sorry. Bonmati. Like, if we're talking about dominance,
Bonmati.
if you're talking about dominance in your sport, Bonmati, if we're being very nice, she's been dominant since 2020, and we're being very, very nice. John Jones has been dominant since 2011.
Bonmati shouldn't even be above Kylian Mbappe.
Yes, he's ahead of Mbappe, bro. Mbappe has been more consistent. Mbappe's been doing since 2017. Mbappe won the World Cup 2018, and he as in how old is he? 18, 19, and
18, 19-year-old.
And he could have been the player of the tournament. They gave it to Modric, but
400 and something goals.
Yeah, but it could have really been Mbappe. And for all of this, when he was playing with Neymar and Messi, Mbappe was the top scorer in that team. Stop.
Carrying the team.
Where's Neymar? Where's Suarez? Where's Iniesta? Where's Xavi? I feel like they did a very good job with basketball players.
Xavi is at 70.
Yeah, 70. I just saw that.
I know Iniesta is at 70.
Yes, and then Xavi is at 75. Oh, this is shocking. And
Xavi is at 75.
Is John Jones the only MMA athlete? Where's GSP? Where's GSP?
They did the boxers dirty too.
Yeah, and even Aja Wilson, Aja Wilson, she's not been dominant for as long as these other players, but you can make a very good argument for Aja Wilson being the greatest female basketball player of all time. Zlatan is here over Suarez.
What number is Zlatan?
95 over R9. I mean, over Suarez.
So Aja has had a better career than Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Yo,
Asia has had a
this
better
list.
career than Rory McIlroy. Asia has had a better career than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
Asia Wilson.
Rory is also way too low. Rory is way too low.
Rory. McIlroy.
Yeah.
Are we kidding? Ed
Virat!
Reed is at 99.
Virat Kohli, the GOAT of cricket, is 97. I'm done with this list, bro.
We don't
I'm
even have to
done.
talk about it.
I'm done with this list.
ESPN do a better job, and we are going to also come up with our own either football list or try to mimic at least top 10. We'll try and come up with a top 10 that makes a little more sense, and
Yeah.
we are going to also present to you with the reasons why we think these people make the top 10. We are also going to present to you their accolades, everything they want, the reason why we think they need to be shifted. You understand me? Some of the names we are seeing on this 100,
It's shocking.
it's crazy.
It's shocking. Look, I'm not even that tapped in with cricket. I can't lie and be
But you know him.
like I can't lie and say I watch every F1 race. I watch every golf tournament. I watch every single UFC event. I don't. But I'm tapped in enough to know that the GOAT of cricket, the literal GOAT of cricket, should be ahead of Jason Kidd, Bon Mati, and all these other guys. What? We have guys here that aren't even top 5.
Ronaldinho is 94, bro.
I'm sorry, you have guys here that aren't
Save
even.
your breath.
They have guys here that aren't even top 5 in their own sport. But you're gonna have Virat Kohli at number 97, the GOAT of cricket. Stop. This list is a joke.
Ronaldinho is number 95, bro.
Bro, this list is a joke. This list, look,
94, sorry.
Look, sports fans, we love ESPN because ESPN has done a lot for the world of sports, you know. But this list is awful. It's awful. It's just objectively speaking, is a bad list. If we're being objective, I'm not being like mean or anything. Objectively speaking, this is a bad list. And
Very bad, man. We need to do better.
And, you know, for the biggest sporting organization in the world, we need more. The standards need to be higher.
We need more. We need better. There should be a better collection of people selecting these players, because when we talk about sports and we talk about athletes, you need to really delve into other sports to consider their greatness.
Yeah.
You know, like you delve into the F1, you delve into Formula One, the likes of Schumacher, the likes of Hamilton are goats in those sections. You understand me? You dive into cricket. What has Ashoni done to be ahead of Virat? And more money? You understand me? There is a lot of players that have done a lot in their individual disciplines that deserve more than what the respect that they are getting. You understand me? We went through the list and we kept seeing names, the Mayweathers. I didn't see Manny Pacquiao. I didn't see any other boxer. Since the 2000s, there are a lot of other boxing names that, you know, made their mark. You understand me? Made their mark. Canelo. You understand me? So if I'm seeing some names like Bon Mati, why can't I see a Canelo?
And again,
sorry,
Yusuf, but just to explain this quickly, we are not saying Bon Mati's name over and over again to pick on Bon Mati.
We are not singling
we
her
are
out.
We are saying this. She's a great football player. If you watch my stream on the Women's FIFA World Cup, which I streamed in this channel, I've talked so much about women's football. Not so much as men's football, but I've talked quite enough about women's football. She was great, but we're talking about guys that have been dominant in their sport. Again, we're talking about the GOAT of cricket. The literal GOAT of cricket. Someone who's considered by many as the greatest cricket player of all time. And this guy's number 97, behind players who've been hot since when? Since 2020? Like, it's just not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair to the GOATs. It's not fair to these players as well, because they get criticism like the one that they're receiving right now. Again, ESPN being the biggest sporting media organization in the world, I expect more. I expect the people voting for this to do their due diligence, to do their proper research, because then it just leaves us with moments like this. Took Ronaldo aside and all these players aside, we need to be doing a lot better than just throwing up a bunch of names in the list, because it is disrespectful. It is really disrespectful to what these guys have done in their respective fields, in their respective sports. But yes, I think we lost Yusuf here. Let me add him back. Can you hear me, Yusuf?
So,
You good?
yeah, I'm good. I'm
Okay.
picking up one phone call. 1 second. I'm
That's
good.
fine. That's fine. That's fine. And yes, so we're gonna get Yusuf back in a second. What we're gonna move over to talk about? Are you like the black Fabrizio Romano? I wouldn't be mind. I wouldn't mind, or at least I wouldn't be mad with that comparison, the black Fabrizio Romano. But no, Fabrizio Romano, the work he puts in, I can't even put myself in that category. Fabrizio Romano does too much work. He's too tapped in with the community and the football influence. I can't even compare myself to Fabrizio Romano. But yes, guys, the next topic that we're going to talk about, we're going to move over to talk about the how are we going to do this? Should we talk about the rumors or Endrick first? Because for Endrick, I kind of wanted Yusuf here, but it's fine. We'll talk about the rumors, because there have been more football rumors going around. It makes sense as well as the transfer window closes in. Clubs are more desperate to get their players in. So the next topic we're going to talk about are the rumors. And as a United fan, I was going to delve deeper a little bit more tomorrow when I was going to do a United show. I was going to do a show talking about Manchester United and how United are possibly going to make this transfer window one of the most successful windows of the past few years. But since Yusuf is 1 second, my bad, guys. Yes, but since Yusuf is not here right now, what we'll do is we're going to talk about the new transfer rumors. And the first one is, of course, Sancho to... Oh, my days, Sancho to PSG. These rumors have been building up lately over the past few days. And, we all know the relationship that Jadon Sancho had with Erik ten Hag. We know they've tried to squash their problems. And it seems like they've been quite successful at that. It seems like ten Hag and United and Sancho have been able to come to an understanding, and they've been able to go past the hardships that they went through earlier on, mainly around, what was it, November, October time, when there was the argument between Sancho and Erik ten Hag, where Sancho was underperforming. We could all see Sancho was underperforming. We could all see that Sancho was not being his best self, and Ten Hag called him out for it, saying he wasn't training hard enough. And I just feel like Sancho really took that to heart, and it kind of, ended up with him going to Dortmund. It ended up with Sancho going to Dortmund by the January transfer window. And Sancho went on to Dortmund. He did all right, but I don't think Sancho did quite enough. He didn't impress Dortmund enough for them to go out there and spend the big money to get Sancho back in the team. And, it's kind of sad because, you have a team like Dortmund who's saying to Sancho, we love you, we think you're a great asset, we think you could be very instrumental to this team, but they weren't willing to pay the cash for him. And so we had these stories coming up around 2 to 3 weeks ago about Sancho coming back into the training ground and him and Ten Hag squashing their beef, their quote-unquote beef. But the thing that you have here right now is rumors of PSG coming up to sign Sancho, and it kind of puts those reports kind of in jeopardy, or at least it makes us question those reports that were coming up earlier on in the summer window, where they said that Sancho and Ten Hag were able to get past their turmoils, their beef, and it kind of makes you question whether they really have been able to get past their past problems. And yes, so as a United fan, Jesus King, bro, Jesus is King. But as a United fan, as I was saying, as a United fan, I'm going to talk about this a bit deeper on tomorrow morning, but I don't want Sancho to go. I've seen a lot of United fans saying, yes, sell Sancho. We don't need Sancho. Sancho's not that important in the team. But what I think a lot of people are kind of failing to realize is to get rid of Sancho, you're also going to have to replace him. And my thing is, You have a talented player in Jadon Sancho, a player who, you know, it's not been easy for him at United. There's been more pressure, more demands, and again, he's not performed. But at least in Sancho, we have seen Sancho perform very well, and this is what I'm going to dive deep into tomorrow morning. I'm going to go back and look at Sancho's years at Dortmund and see how good Sancho really was. Because again, I think people have forgotten how good Jadon Sancho really is. And if we can get even a fraction of that Sancho back in this team, if we can even get a fraction of that same quality that Sancho was displaying, the goal contributions he was producing at Dortmund, I think that if we get that, we're going to have a very, very dangerous season. You know, the question always is, oh, but what if he does, or what if he doesn't? And I get it. You know, a lot of fans have lost faith in Jadon Sancho, and kind of understandably, multiple reports have come out, even when he was at City, when he was at Dortmund, even now at United. But something else that people kind of fail to realize, and again, I'm going to dive deep into this tomorrow morning, is that we are all humans. Like, we all make mistakes. I'm pretty sure you have made mistakes. I for sure make mistakes. I make mistakes on a daily basis. And for professional athletes, mainly, like, all of your mistakes are amplified by 1,000. All of your mistakes are, you know, scrutinized by everyone. And, you know, I'm also at fault here, because I definitely did criticize Sancho. But I am willing, if it's not, I'm not the one that has beef with Sancho, it's Ten Hag. And again, as I said before, I'm always going to back the manager. But if the manager has said, or if the manager is trying to work through things with Jadon Sancho, who am I? Who are you? You know, we are fans. We are allowed to have our opinions. But who are we to dictate how Ten Hag should run the team? Who are we to dictate how Sancho, or who are we to dictate Sancho's development as a human being, as a professional? If these guys have really moved past their issues, if they have really, you know, squashed their beef, I'm just going to support them, and I'm going to wish Sancho the best. I'm going to wish Ten Hag the best. You know, again, we're not perfect, and if these guys have really walked past things, and if players are willing to grow, then I'm going to back them. I'm 100% going to back Sancho. Again, there's a lot of division within the Manchester United community about, you know, people wanting Ten Hag out, people not wanting Ten Hag out, fans, you know, really wanting to back Ten Hag, and other fans wanting Ten Hag sacked. And as I said this, I've said this before. Whilst these guys are on my club, and whilst these guys have shown me that they can do things, then I'm going to back them. I'm going to back Sancho. I'm going to back Ten Hag. I may be wrong. You know, we may get to October, November, and at that point, you have to get rid of Sancho immediately. But I'm always willing to give people, willing to give players a second chance. And the next rumor that we have here today, or at least the second transfer rumor that we have here today, is about Eze. You know, we all know the amazing, or at least we all know the amazing talent factory that is Crystal Palace, and how Crystal Palace, over the last few years, they've been able to kind of revive the Zaha and Zaha. Oh, what's the other Palace player? It was Zaha and who else? Oh, my laptop's acting up. But at least in the mid 2010s, Crystal Palace had a very good team that allowed them to stay in the Premier League for a long time. But again, as all of these smaller teams, it happens to all of them, you lose these players. But I feel like Crystal Palace, over the past few years, they've been able to come back with players that are extremely talented, players in mainly Eze and Olise. And Olise is already gone, and there are rumors of Eze possibly moving this summer. And there have been very strong links of Eze moving to Tottenham. And my thing with Eze to Tottenham is, I feel like Eze really likes to play more centrally. So if Eze does move to Tottenham, where's he going to play? Is he going to play on the left? I mean, that's where Son plays. I feel like for Eze, the best move for him right now is to stay at Crystal Palace. The best thing for Eze right now is to stay at Crystal Palace for a bit longer. I feel like at Crystal Palace, he plays in his preferred position, where he's allowed to drift up to the left, or he's allowed to stay in the middle. He gets a lot of freedom at Crystal Palace, and I think that Eze, if he goes to one of these big clubs, he's going to be, how do you say? he's going to be confined to a role and a position that I think doesn't really align with the way Eze likes to play. I feel like Eze is an extremely free player. He likes to do his own thing. He's, extremely creative. And I feel like that's when you get the best out of Eze, when he's being the most creative, when he's allowed to do his own thing. And if he goes to one of those big clubs in the Premier League, I feel like he's going to, lose a lot of that. And with that, the poor performances also come, and so come the criticism. So yeah, that's another rumor of Eze, and the other rumor that we have here is the rumor about Victor Osimhen. And with Victor Osimhen, really, you have a player who 2 years ago was the hottest thing in football as far as strikers go. Victor Osimhen was really putting up amazing performances for Napoli, helping them to win the league. He was a king, almost a god out there in Italy for Napoli, but he should have gotten this move that summer. Osimhen didn't get his move. We of course know that Osimhen stayed another year with Napoli, and things didn't really work out with Napoli. There's been rumors of racism within Napoli, within the Napoli governing, not the Napoli governing body, but for example, there was that post of on TikTok of the Napoli TikTok administrator making fun of Osimhen when he didn't have one of his best games. And I felt like Osimhen was really fed up with that kind of stuff. He also wanted that move, the big move, to go to a bigger club. And yeah, I think it's kind of disappointing to see that Osimhen didn't get his move 2 summers ago, because I think that's when his value would have been highest. I feel like Osimhen should have gotten his move when he was playing his best football. I feel like it would have also really helped Napoli. You just won the league. You don't want to lose your best player, but if you have to lose your best player, you're kind of going to lose your best player.
Sorry, I'm back.
Wait, you're going to lose your best player. Oh, there he is. You're going to lose your best player for the most amount of money possible. So I kind of think that's where I was at with Osimhen. But yeah, Yusuf, I was just going over some of the transfer rumors. Sancho, Eze, and Osimhen being the biggest so far. There are also other transfer rumors, but I feel like these three are the biggest in right now.
Do you really believe that Sancho's move to Arsenal is going to be
to PSG?
It's PSG now.
Yeah, it's PSG.
I read today they said he's willing to take less to go to Arsenal.
If he wants to go for Arsenal, I think that'd be a very smart move for Sancho, because I think PSG is a massive risk, and I feel like if Sancho doesn't perform at United, doesn't perform at Dortmund, he doesn't perform at PSG, I feel like no big club in Europe will ever want to go for Sancho again. Whereas, and if he does go to Arsenal again, it's also disappointing because you're going to be taking a lesser role for Saka, so you're willing to be a bench player, and again you begin to question Sancho's hunger and etc. But again, even that report, I don't know where it came from. I'm not saying that it's not true, but will Arteta take Sancho? Arteta, who was not willing to put up with Aubameyang shenanigans, even though Aubameyang was a leader, a captain, and the top scorer in the team. If Arteta was not willing to put up with Aubameyang shenanigans, I'm pretty sure he's not willing or even going to give the time of day to Sancho.
That is true. Arteta is a no-nonsense manager, so
he is.
It might be a wrong place for him. But if Arteta is the one wanting him, maybe he might have a plan for him. So it depends on the interest of Arteta too. Maybe all of this is coming from Arteta. Maybe Arteta is the one wanting to make Aubameyang, make Sancho a part of his team. Remember when he went for Kai Havertz?
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to understand what he was doing with like a player like Kai Havertz. Nobody understood why he wanted Kai Havertz. So I think probably if Arteta wants him, maybe he might have a plan for him.
And even with Kai Havertz, like, I was one of the guys making fun of that move. I was like, Arsenal, what are you doing? So again, managers know what they're doing. I just feel like Sancho is too much of a risk for Arsenal to take on right now. I don't think any Arsenal fan, I don't know, guys, let me know in the chat if you guys would take Sancho on your team. But I don't know if any Arsenal fan would take the risk of having Sancho in their team. One for his performances, one for the price, and one for the attitude in the dressing room. There are just too many factors for Sancho. I think the best thing for Sancho, if he does want a move, is to stay at United this year, really perform, and push for a move next summer. because he's
I
hardly.
don't think him staying is going to help. I know he might have solved everything with the manager, they talked and all of those things,
Yeah.
but I feel like there's still going to be that bad blood, you know. And you should understand one thing: your manager is coming in this season for blood. You understand me? The funny business that was happening during the transfer to the Manchester United, talking to other managers and all of those things, I think he took it personal.
Yeah.
You know, he
Definitely.
might look like he's cool and calm and everything, but he took it personal because he feels like his caliber is way above being like traded like that or being treated like that. So I would like him to come in with that type of energy coming into the next season. I would like him to come in with that type of energy. But him coming in with that type of energy, maybe he might not like to work with players like Sancho because of past history. Maybe he might want to go to the players who he feel like the loyalty is very high. You get me? Maybe this is the season Anthony actually proves that he can do something with United.
I
You
highly
know,
doubt that.
I highly doubt it
I
too. But
highly
I'm just
doubt that.
saying, sometimes when you have like the supreme support of the management, there's some times that you just get a spark and like it might maybe carry on. But I doubt it too. You get me? So all of the players he has vouched for and all of the players he has tried to push, maybe this is the season is gonna be like, okay, let me go all out on my all in on my boys because at the end of the season, if I don't perform, I'm going to be sacked. I'm already being marked as a manager who's going to be sacked. So this is the season I go all out.
Yeah. And
So I hope
yeah, go on, go on.
now I mean I hope this is the season he actually makes a change.
Hugh, Tenag or Sancho?
What?
Tenag or Sancho? Who's gonna make a
For
change?
Ten Hag.
Tenag. Okay.
Ten Hag. I think if he gives Sancho a chance, Sancho is going to perform. I think Sancho has learned his lesson. You understand me? He has been rejuvenated with all of this Dortmund thing. So I like the fact that they've been able to talk it out. This is the time you get the most out of the player. You understand me? This is not the time for beef. Let's put the beef aside and try and get these wins. You get me? If Ten Hag and Sancho can understand each other in that regard, they are going to be exceptional.
Yes. But yeah, that would be the thingy on this transfer rumors. Again, every episode until the season starts, we'll come back with more rumors and with more
Mm-hmm.
chats and all this gossip that's going on in world football. But I
Yeah,
think there's a pressing matter, a real pressing matter in world football, something that has really been stinking the place up. And
facts.
his name is Enzo Fernandez, and his
Mm-hmm.
crew are Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about this last episode, but I feel like last episode we just went over it quite quickly, rather
Yeah,
quickly. And I was quite glad when you hit me up and you said we need to delve deeper into this topic because,
facts.
you know, he apologized. It was a mistake. He went
Mm-hmm.
back to River Plate, and this is something I'm gonna put on the main camera on me right now because this is something I
Yeah,
need you guys to understand because there are also a lot of guys in the comments which I just find it weird trying to defend Enzo Fernandez Argentina. I just find it highly weird. If you're trying to defend
mm-hmm.
Enzo Fernandez Argentina, I'm sorry, that is weird. But he went back to River Plate, okay? And when he goes back to River Plate to do his, ceremony for his boyhood club,
Yeah,
what were all the fans in the stadium singing?
the same
All of the
type.
fans, yeah, all of the fans in that stadium were singing those racist chants. So when people tell me it's not that deep, he's just celebrating, it's a joke,
Or he's regretted it.
or he's regretted it. Look at the impact it has.
And did you
You know,
did
and
you
and
read what his father said?
Right, not yet. And another thing is, I love the bias towards Argentina. Yusuf, I might even have to
Mm-hmm.
give you a written apology because you were talking about this 2 years ago, and then
Thank you, bro.
Mars, who else? VD shows, Louis. We were all saying, "Oh, Yusuf, you're doing too much. You're being thingy." Really
Yeah,
and truly, when Vinny was being racially attacked in Spain, there was a lot of support for Vinny and for La Liga not doing anything. How come when it's Enzo
right.
Fernandez and Argentina, no one wants to talk about it anymore? He just he's
Silence.
apologized. I genuinely feel like the one with Argentina is way more targeted. These are the players.
Facts.
These are not angry fans that are trying to pick on. These are players,
Actual
professional
players.
millionaire athletes who are going out of their way to ridicule and bash other players because of their race and nationality. How disgusting is that?
Very
How
disgusting.
disgusting is that?
Very disgusting.
But
Very disgusting.
I'll let you go on.
With this Enzo Fernandez case, one, him coming in with the apology. Two, his father coming in with a cheeky apology and a justification. You don't apologize and justify in the same sentence. Justify what the kid did, then apologize, and then point fingers. You did three things in the apology, which you shouldn't do. Oh, when this people did this and when that people did that. No, that is not the matter at hand. You understand me? If theirs was that extreme, we would be talking about it now. The situation with your son is more extreme. That is why we are talking about it the way we are talking about it. Him going into his boyhood club and them chanting this shows the magnitude of how those Argentinians and those Argentinian fans and the players don't care. And I didn't expect him to stand there and be clapping whilst they did those chants. If you regretted it so much, you could have done a gesture to tell them, no, stop. We've seen players do it. We've
Clapping
seen
and
players
smiling.
clapping and smiling. You understand me? And the next thing is, in their way, Chelsea to crisis manage, all of a sudden, he needs to go into surgery and miss the whole season. So are they going to keep him in hiding and bring him out the next season? Because now he has kind of lost a lot of value because most teams don't want to risk signing him. If you have black players on the team, they wouldn't want to play with him. And some of the white players would even feel a way about playing with them. You understand me? So there's just too much riding around him. So you guys find a way to what? Say he's injured and he has to go through surgery and he would miss the whole of next season. We didn't hear about this injury or this surgery or the magnitude of this thing until this situation. JVM, I've been looking at videos, looking at things, looking at a compilation of the things these Argentinian teams have been doing. And trust me, it is appalling. And they have been pampered. They get away with almost everything. And I'm amazed that the ESPNs and everybody isn't on this case like the way they would have been on this case if it was another situation. All of the news I'm getting is from what? Private TikTok and creators like us. But the big conglomerates, the only person I would probably give some flowers is Daily Mail. Because I still see them hammering the case. The rest of the news outlets just talked about it and I don't hear anything again.
And another thing I want to do is I want to applaud for Fana. I really want to applaud for Fana because it is way too many times that we have, I don't want to say friends, but I want to say acquaintances. We have co-workers. We have family or friends of family or family friends, however you want to say it, that, say, they may make a racist joke and stuff like that. And it's like, no, sorry, that's not on. And I really want to commend for Fana for not standing on that and for being very blunt, for going out on his social media, for being vocal, for retweeting the video and being like, for showing his disdain for what he was seeing. I really want to commend for Fana because it shows real character. And another thing is, reports were coming out of Fofana and the Fernandez being good friends. How are you going to make a chant about someone else's nationality, about not even someone else, about your friends or your teammate's nationality and where he's from, and you're going to sing that gladly and smiling and as if it was a joke, when you've played all season with this guy? People saying, "Oh, he's not educated enough. He's not educated enough." How long he's been playing in the Premier League for the last year and a half? And how much education do you need to? How much education do you need to have? And this is just really a basic human level. Just don't be. It just really comes down to just don't be a mean person. That's what it really comes down to. Just don't be a mean person.
I don't get the education part of everything. Like,
Alessandro Del Piero.
I didn't think education has something to do with racism and being nice. You know, whatever you are telling the person is hurtful.
Yeah, exactly. You're saying that to hurt someone else.
How is education? You get me? How is education a part of all of this? So look, they can push their narrative and push all of the things they want to push because of who they love and who they like, and Argentina didn't do this and all of those things. But look, the underlying factor is what the guy did is not right. And if we as football fans are going to stand for this, then the football we claim we love has lost its value in my eyes, because this is what we do, this is what we love, this is what we are attached to. You get me? So that is all I can even add on this. And I'm so annoyed. I hear FIFA said they are doing investigations and all of those things, but we are waiting to see what they would come up with.
And
and this is going to really prove
a
lot.
As you can say, I agree. I feel like the way Chelsea conduct themselves is really going to be important. And again, I'm not saying you can't get past this. I'm not saying that, you have to ban Enzo Frnandez from football completely. But there has to be some serious punishment. And another thing is, we are just talking about Enzo Frnandez. On the title of this thing, as you clearly see, I put Argentina's racist chants, not Enzo Frnandez, because Enzo was not the only one. He wasn't even the only Premier League player, but he's taking the bulk of this blame. There were other players in that bus that were Argentinian players that play in Europe. So this is now an education problem. So again, none of these players could tell the other players to shut up and not sing that. So you're telling me now that all of these players are ignorant. All of these players didn't know any better. Oh, he just didn't know any better. He didn't know any better.
They are not educated.
Poor excuses. Poor excuses for horrible behavior.
Football deserves better.
Oh, my days. But yes, I think that's the second time of us talking about Enzo Frnandez. And I would say I'm tired of talking about this, but I'm not. As long as there are people out there doing this dumb stuff, I'll talk about it. I'll talk about it again and again and again if I have to. This is a larger problem that we have at hand. You want to be racist and make racist comments? We'll be back here. We'll be back here every single time this happens to talk about it, to scrutinize, to criticize these guys. Every single time this happens, we'll be here and we'll criticize it. But yes, on a more positive note, again, I don't want to just move from this topic quickly, but again, this is a debate show and we have topics to debate. I want to talk about Endrick. I want to talk about Endrick because we were talking about Mbappe last episode, and I think we ran out of time. We ran out of time last episode, and we talked about how Mbappe fit into this team, but we kind of didn't really talk about how Endrick, who's also coming this season, fit into this Real Madrid team. And I feel like Endrick is just an important piece to Real Madrid and what they want to do in the future and going forward.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Endrick and what he can do for Real Madrid?
The kid already, without even playing a single game for Real Madrid, is garnering this level of attention.
Yeah.
This kid already has iconic pictures without even doing anything in football. I heard the Lucas Paqueta interview when they asked him about Endrick, and he was talking about the brilliance. He says some people are born to do this. Some people are born for greatness. He has the Luis Suarez effect, based on what Paqueta said. The Luis Suarez effect is those players that are technically gifted and can create a chance to score a goal, but then any mishap in the box, the ball falls right to their feet. And if somebody wants to understand this, just go look at Luis Suarez goals. He has the individually brilliant goals, and he has those goals that Messi hits the post and the ball falls right beneath Suarez's legs. Neymar misses a pass, it falls beneath Suarez's legs. The goalkeeper saves the ball, it falls. You understand me? I think he's going to be a great addition to the squad. He's going to play the Brahim Diaz role, you know,
Yeah.
inject him in matches when we are supposed to inject him, because I feel like Brahim Diaz this season is going to have a bigger role than coming in some games and not coming in some games. The fact that the likes of Hoselu have, like, all seek to move away from the squad means what? There's room for another striker. Hendrick is known as a striker. Brahim Diaz is going to be a backup for the Rodrigos and the Vinis, you know? And in some games, the midfield is stacked. In some games when the formation is about to be switched, players like Hendrick are going to have their chance, just like Brahim Diaz had his chance in some of the games last season. You understand me? So people talking about, oh, he won't succeed. Yeah, you guys said all of this about Vinicius Jr. Look at where we are now. Even one player that you guys dissed after loan upon loan upon loan, Odegaard, is one of the best or one of the most important players in this Arsenal squad.
Captain.
You understand me? So, and the captain of the squad too. So yeah, we can say all we want to say about like the potential of a player, but until we actually see him flop, we need to keep our ego and we need to keep our words at the minimum, because it might be another Vinicius, Rodrigo, Valverde, Casemiro situation,
And I
And
think
if
that's
there's one,
scary.
yeah, and if there's one team that has proved within just past few years to be able to be lucky with this stuff, is Real Madrid. Remember when we paid 80 for Chouamini?
Yeah. And it was 100% worth it.
You understand me? But at that time, who are we signing for 80? Remember when we paid 45 for Camavinga? Remember, you see, we make signings like this and it looks like we threw the money away. But yeah, it might turn out different. In the same way, we might make an investment like Hazard and he gets injured. It's a game, but we really know how to play the game. And I have to add one thing. The Real Madrid fans laughing at Manchester United for the Euro signing, saying, oh, Real Madrid didn't want to overpay for the boy. I don't think 60 million is an overpayment for a defender of his caliber and the potential he has. Yeah. You understand me? So
yeah. To be fair, if you're gonna put again, I've talked about Lenny Euro last episode. Lenny Euro is a player who, again, if you had to build a centre back from scratch, with all the possible traits that you would like in a centre back, good on the ball, tall, he's 18, but he's already played 60 professional matches for 60 million. Mate, that's a good price. That's a good price in my opinion. But yeah,
Virgil van Dijk wasn't at his level at 18.
Yeah, he wasn't. Again, we're not trying to put Euro up against Van Dijk because it's very unfair. But all we are saying is, as far as potential
at 18, I didn't mean at 18. I didn't compare them. They call me the Virgil van Dijk hater. I didn't compare them. No. I'm just saying at 18, because Virgil van Dijk was a late bloomer. You guys should realize him leaving Southampton for Liverpool. He was already around his 20s, right?
Yeah.
Like 25, right?
Yeah.
You understand me?
When he left Southampton, he outside of the big six, he was considered the best centre back in the league.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, on Hendrick, a point that I really want to hit home with Hendrick is just how amazing Hendrick's finishing really is. Because we don't really see players this young that good, that great at finishing. Even Vinny, when he first came to
appalling.
When he first came to Real Madrid, Vinny's finishing was not like that. I was looking
appalling.
Diego and Kate, how you doing, bro? When when I was looking at Xerxes, very talented player, but not a good finisher. When I was looking at even, so many strikers around Europe, they are talented, but they aren't great finishers at this tender age.
Mm-hmm.
This is something you
Mm-hmm.
develop, and something
Facts.
that only the greats, even Ronaldo, when he first came to United, he couldn't score goals like that. He had to develop that. And
Yeah, you had to
Hendrix,
develop it.
Hendrix' feel for the game is
It's
amazing.
amazing.
Hendrick has an amazing feel for the game, and I feel like if you're able to make it work with that front three, with that midfield, and you also have Hendrick, oh,
It's going to be scary.
it's domination.
It is going to be scary.
And if all of these guys, and I feel like the most important, not the most important guy in the team, but a very important player in this team is going to be Rodrigo. If Rodrigo can be selfless, if Rodrigo can take a step back and say, you know what,
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm that guy, but in this team I need to
Yeah.
take a step back, because Rodrigo, he can come to Liverpool
Mm-hmm.
and be one of the best players in the Premier League. He can come to United.
Yeah.
He can go to PSG. Rodrigo can leave Real Madrid and show that he's one of the best players in the world. But if Rodrigo
Mm-hmm.
can really strip back his ego and just buy
Mm-hmm.
into this project, Real Madrid are going to be an
Mm-hmm.
extremely dangerous team to beat.
Facts. Facts.
Extremely dangerous team to beat.
You hit the nail right on the head. You hit the nail right on the head. And I hope it works out because I'm Madrid. So
Yeah. But yes, guys, do you have anything else to talk about, Yusuf?
no. Are we on tomorrow?
We are on tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Okay, then
Yes.
let's save the rest for tomorrow's show.
Yeah, guys, we are back tomorrow. We've done it for about an hour and a half today. We appreciate everyone that's watched today daily. We appreciate all of you
Love.
that have watched immensely. If you want to watch
Love.
more live streams, we do these twice a week. Please be sure to subscribe. There will be clips, there will be videos and shorts of this podcast every single day throughout the week. So we really appreciate you guys watching. Really appreciate you guys sticking through with us. This has been the
Facts.
most, so far it's been the most watched stream. So thank you guys once again. But yeah,
Thank you.
we'll see you. We'll see you soon. We'll see you guys soon again. We'll be back tomorrow. So we'll see you soon.
Peace.